Okay, first of all, I want to say I sort of want this channel to be full of video diaries. I want my videos to resemble journal entries, and so I'm kind of gonna have, I think at the beginning or maybe the end, clips of what I've been doing recently, what I've been up to, and just things that I captured recently that I found beautiful, I think. And I don't know, I think it kind of mirrors the first part of journaling and stuff. You know, sometimes when I do my entries, I start with random things. Oh, today I went to the grocery store and then I started thinking about blah blah blah. So that's sort of what I'm trying to channel, if that makes sense. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about beauty. I'm probably going to get interrupted. I've been debating this crazily because it's like, I don't know if anyone's going to relate to this, but I hope someone out there does in some way or the other, and it helps with the realization, no matter how small, honestly. So, in my first 10 years of life, I resided in Nigeria. I was born there and I moved through much of my life there. And my gap teeth, the gap between my teeth, they were seen as a sign of beauty, as a symbol of beauty and intelligence. And I saw it as that. I was so confident, and I was smiling every single chance I got. And I remember the compliments that I got, you know, like, oh my gosh, your teeth are so beautiful. And I was just so confident in my smile. Even at the dentist, oh my gosh, I remember even at the dentist, there wasn't any comments, or there weren't any comments about, would you consider getting braces to close the gap or whatever, because it's so normalized as something that is so beautiful. Why would you want to close a beautiful gap, you know? Why would you want to get rid of such a beautiful feature, is how it's viewed in Nigeria. Fast forward, I moved to Canada, and everything changes. I realized that my gap teeth are not a sign of beauty. They're a flaw, something to be fixed, something to be improved on. And I remember I went to the dentist, and actually no, before that I had a few experiences. I remember a prominent one. I felt so embarrassed, because it's like I felt so hyper aware of how different I was and how different my teeth were. Because if you have a gap, get braces, close them up, but I wasn't doing that. And I didn't feel the need to do that until I began to see things, and especially that one experience that I had. It was just like, it was crazy, but it really struck a nerve and hit a chord, I guess. And I remember I went to the dentist, and they were talking about, oh, you could get braces to close the gap. And my parents were like, no. But internally I was thinking, yes, please, I just want to get rid of this and be beautiful, so people don't make comments about this flaw, this feature that I've learned to see as a flaw. One day I was home alone with my mother, and I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna get braces. And she was disappointed in me. I remember she called my aunt, and my aunt was like, why would you want to get braces? Why would you want to close that beautiful gap you have? And I could not see what they saw. All I saw was a flaw that needed to be fixed. And it was really sad. And I was talking to her about the experience that I had and just everything, and how I wanted to not have to think about my teeth, and I just wanted them to be perfect. I wanted to be beautiful. And then she talked to me, and she was like, Chloe, people are always gonna have something to say. Even if you close that gap, there's always gonna be comments. People are never satisfied, and there's always something to be said about you. And also, most importantly, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think everyone knows that, but we low-key forget about it. Like, I personally forget about it a lot. And I just want to be beautiful, you know? And it's really, really hard because in Nigeria it's seen as beauty. But I'm not, like my gap teeth are seen as a sign of beauty, but I'm not living in Nigeria anymore. But my parents really want me to preserve that part and embrace this thing that is seen as beautiful, even if it's not seen as beautiful here. And that's hard, you know. So I think that the most important thing is remembering that beauty is subjective and that honestly everyone is beautiful in their own way, and all these features that are deemed as flaws only make you more unique and add to who you are, if that makes sense. I yeah, you know, I still struggle a lot with it because sometimes I see it through a Nigerian perspective, sometimes I see my gap tooth through a Canadian perspective, and I'm just trying to come to terms and try to realize that there's beauty in it, and that honestly it doesn't matter if the people that I'm currently surrounded by, the society that I currently live in, does not view it as something beautiful. I have to have self-confidence. I need to have the belief that I am beautiful, and that's all that matters, honestly. I think that all these things are deemed as flaws add individuality. I can't say that word, guys. But they add to your personality and they add to a person's individuality. And I think that they are so beautiful. And if someone out there is having a flaw that they're trying to come to terms with, or something has a flaw that they're thinking about changing, I think that just try to understand that in some places in the world, maybe that flaw is viewed as a sign of beauty, a symbol of intelligence, and something that people seek. And, you know, maybe that can help you feel better. I don't know, I hope so. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, and everyone has a light in them. And, you know, society and the way beauty standards work, they might dim that light, but once you start to embrace who you are, embrace your flaws and your imperfections, you radiate with so much beauty and so much confidence, and that's beauty. You know, just embracing who you are, no matter how hard it may be, because it is hard, but just embracing flaws, because somewhere out there in the world, there's probably a society that sees that flaw as something beautiful.
It is in here?
Oh my gosh. Wait, I found...
Oh. Are you sure it's for me?
Yeah. I thought this was a 40. Wow. They must be really, really rare then. I thought people were just like saying...
They are rare.